Hi, guys. Welcome to the Karen Carrington Show. My name is Karen Carrington, and I am your host. The Karen Carrington Show was launched back in 2017, and it's all about my guests who are inspiring. We talk about our ups and our downs and how we overcome, and we inspire each other's with the guests that I have. And today is no different. I have my special friend who I love so much. She brings so much to the table, has a wealth of knowledge and expertise. That is Khursheed Sethna.
Hi, I'm so lucky to be here and happy to be here. Hi, Karen.
I love
Hello,
spending
everyone.
time with you. I love our conversations. I love all the work that you do for the community and everything that you've done so far. So if you could just share with my guests who you are and what you're all about and all the amazing things that you bring to the forefront.
There is so much. I love it when people ask me who I am, what I've done, because there's that academic side of me. I have a bachelor's in speech therapy. I have a master's in human communication. I have a PhD in clinical psych. I have a diploma in spiritual psychotherapy. I mean, there's degrees up the wazoo. But truly, I think my greatest education has been life. My healing journey from being the child of an alcoholic, abusive parent, um, and the healing I've done for others, and the healing that I've received. That's where my major education has come in. I've been a therapist and a coach for over 30 years. I've been a voice coach for that long. And I've also been on stage for well over 40 years. And I
Mm.
find one of my major messages, I guess, from all this work and bringing it all together is that's why I call myself the inside out voice coach, because I truly believe that our outer expression is a reflection of our inner strength and our self-worth.
And that's exactly why your message always resonates with me. You touch on self worth. And you mentioned something, Khursheed, that I want to touch on. With all your credentials, you bring so much knowledge. You have a lot of clients that you work with where they have all this background in their field and in their industry, yet for some reason, they dull their shine, they play small. And these are people who are usually quite confident in the workplace and in their entrepreneurial journey. Can you share with me, in your expert opinion, why that might be?
Absolutely. I'm the queen recovering in that area myself. Um, I think there are powerful, successful women like us who still have wounding, nooses, I call them, from our childhood. And it's amazing how, even when we're appearing powerful and confident, there's little things that are going under the surface that are literally holding us back from being the full extent of what we are. So our voice can be held back. I know for years I was a people pleaser and approval seeker, and I would literally be worried about letting my light shine. And I know there's tons of people out there, right, who hold back, who hide it under a bushel. You had to remind me to put it out there and be who I was. And I need that reminder myself sometimes. Why are we holding back? Why are we playing small? And it's so much a little message from our childhood, and I call it message mayhem,
Mhm.
can basically guide the trajectory of our lives. And we don't even know it's going on quite often. That's the biggest thing. It's so covert.
Mm. And you often talk about how it comes from, like, the inner child voice. I love when you say that, the inner child. So are a lot of these inhibitions we have or reluctance, does it come from our childhood?
I would say for me, I can personally say, and from a lot of my clients, we know that our parents don't wake up one morning and say, I'm going to mess up my child, right? That's not what they do. They're doing the best they can with what they have. However, it's little messages like, I mean, I used to hear all the time, Khursheed, you're so clumsy. Khursheed, be careful. Khursheed, you're so loud. Calm down. And then of course there's the rage and the violence, and you hear, and it stops you, right? I mean, if I made a mistake and someone is raging at me for making a mistake, why would I ever make a mistake again? Why would I take a chance to
Mm.
do something more with my life? And so I think that's where we often will, one of the things you and I have talked about is settling for scraps of success, right? And that's what we do. We settle for the scraps because we think if we go further, that feedback is going to hurt us. I mean, I literally talk about feedback being a slap in the face, Karen,
Mm.
and for me, you were talking about powerful women and people who are successful.
Mhm.
When I was even at one of my most successful, I would be afraid to pick up the phone if I saw that it was from an authority figure or a lawyer or someone. So
I remember, yeah, we talked about that. Is it because being an authority figure, you thought if you said something wrong, you'd be punished or seen than less than?
yeah, I think when you live in a world where the child is in a world where there's always the possibility of being hurt, raging, right? I mean, the message I got was shut up or you'll get hurt. So when that is the message, even when 9 out of 10 times there's nothing bad coming down the pipes, you actually are expecting it. So, you expect the worst, possibly to survive.
Mm. You expect the worst, especially to survive.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you're expecting it, I mean, I think we shared this. I'm not sure if this is the time to share this, but I remember my brother and I when we would be at home, waiting for Dad to come home at night, and the garage door would open, and we would probably be shaking because we wouldn't know whether it was going to be a quiet transition or whether it was going to be a raging and glasses would fly. So you're always in that state of confusion, always in that state of not knowing. And so that person that you want to feel safe with the most, that message isn't there. As I got older, it was like, okay, something, that call has to be something that's going to be bad or going to hurt me in some way.
Mm. And my favorite part about that is when you said, I'm not sure if we could share that here.
Right.
And the reason why I launched this show is because I believe in bringing uncomfortable stories to the forefront. And we grow up thinking that we aren't to share stories or experiences. But what I love about vulnerability, as you mentioned, is that those life lessons is what makes us stronger. Sharing stories, even though we may not have the same walks of life, I believe sharing stories unite us. And
Absolutely.
you have such a powerful story. The book you wrote two amazing books. I have one of them here that I love so much. And that's what I mean by stories are inspiring. You are so vulnerable in this book. Free your spirit, find your voice. There are so many captivating, compelling parts of your life where you authentically, because I think that was one of your core values, authenticity and honesty. And I have a part in this book, Khursheed. I'm telling you, this is one of my favorite parts. Let me find it here. It's a part when you talk about, I sold my soul for love. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I fell in love with a man who could not and would not love me back. We met when it was good for him, about once a week, never spent holidays. Sounds pretty mistressy to me. But ladies, when I say a man says, I'm not interested in a committed relationship at this time, believe him and run. Or choose to stay and have fun. but then don't change the rules on him midway. Even if it gives every sign that you're in a relationship and he shows you love in many ways, keep checking in if you're looking for something long term. I sold my soul for love. That really resonated with me. A lot of us do that. We settle for scraps.
Yes, yes. And scraps of wonderful, as well as, the moments that we have. I mean, looking back, truly, I believe that he came into my life to not show up for me, to not commit to me, to not love me completely. I believe he came to do that to mirror what I was not doing for myself, Karen. I wasn't showing up for me. I wasn't committing to me. I wasn't fully loving myself. And so this man came in and made me look at that. And I stayed in it. I kept wishing that he would love me the way I wanted to be loved. And I kept going back and forth. And, I lost myself. I would do his books and I would record in his studios and I made him shine. And he didn't even know me initially. And the more I learned about showing up for me, he got to see the real me. The only way I got out and left and stopped settling for it was when I realized that I couldn't love him as little as he wanted to be loved.
Ooh, that's deep. In your opinion, why is it some of us see red flags and we ignore them?
I believe in a soul contract. I really do. And I believe that these men come in as teachers. And I truly believe that they're soulmates. They come in and we have a kindred connection with them so strong that the stakes are high enough for us to do our work. So I look back and on the highs and the lows, and trust me, there were tears shed, many, many tears shed. And they've probably held me back from having a great relationship in the future, and I think they come in to basically make us see what we are lacking. I don't think it's about them. Once we know who we are, we attract what we need. We attract who is good for us. So I'm ready to attract a great love now. But that's that. I've had to get to that point.
Mm. Those words are so powerful. I'm ready to attract love now. Words are so powerful. I know you're a firm believer of speaking what you want into existence. You were also talking about message mayhem. So, can we go back to that? Does message mayhem affect the success that we are looking for?
Huge. The one that comes to mind right now, immediately, that sort of knocked on my head for now, and I just go with that, is I remember as a 10 or 11-year-old, and I was at a concert. And I was watching the orchestra and watching everybody in the orchestra. And I was watching the percussionist. And it was, I think it was Zubin Mehta with the, Berlin Philharmonic. And so everyone was mesmerized with what was going on around them. And I noticed that the percussionist missed a slight beat and came in immediately on the second beat. So of course I've seen all this. I come outside and I say to the people, this group of people we're in, oh my God, they were so fascinated that they even missed a beat. And there's two women who stood there. And even now I can feel it in my chest. They stood there and said, yeah, she's full of it, and walked away. And the only message I heard was, she's full of it. And from that, I mean, when I did the work going back to that moment, I realized that I had literally made a decision in that moment that I had nothing to say, that I was going to be wrong, that people who were better than I was, if they were in an orchestra, if they were in, in better places, they had something to say. It made me literally question every time, what the heck do I have to say? Who the heck am I? And that's where that came. So that's the kind of mayhem that can happen from a small moment like that.
Hmm. Who the heck am I? What do I have to say? And I know in a lot of your teachings and your courses, you always say that it comes right here in your throat
Yeah.
when you feel that what you're about to say, even though you know it's worthy, we put our approval in other people's, we want their approval. And then we hold back. We hold back. That saying that you always say, oh, it's my favorite. Be heard,
Seen, be heard, be believed.
be seen, be heard,
Be believed.
be believed.
And the be believed is the part where when we finally come from our authenticity. And so that's why for me it was important. Yes, be seen. I mean, show yourself, be fully in your element. Don't hide. Be heard for sure. Have a free voice, but be believed. Make sure it's the authentic you that is being seen and heard.
I really like how you said that. Be believed. When you say that, a lot of people may take it as hoping that the receiver believes you. But what you're saying is you need to be believed by yourself, the inner belief that you
Well,
need to be authentic.
yes.
Mm, I love that. And I know there's so many people watching who could resonate with this message. They're feeling that they're settling from scraps. They don't know their worth. They have these message mayhems. They're in powerful positions of leadership and light workers and coaches, yet they still don't know how to find that inner voice. So I know that you have a workshop coming up,
I do.
a 90-minute introductory workshop. Can you tell us just a bit about that? Because I'm super excited for it.
Absolutely. The workshop is actually called Worthy or Not, Here I Come. I wanted power in this workshop, even though it's about self-worth. And it's about let's stop settling for scraps of success. And the three main areas that I often talk about in a number of areas is the feedback I talked about. That feedback is a slap in the face. I don't think people realize that when we don't embrace feedback, we can't succeed. There is just no going anywhere or forward. Another area that I often talk about is what we talked about, the settling in silence. We settle, we sell out. We literally prostitute ourselves by selling out and not being who we are, not letting the other person even know who we are, because we sell out to their needs, their wants, and who they are. So we want to learn how to retake what we want and it's reclaim our power there. And then the third thing I talk about is often is, we often, because of all these things, will just bail on a project. We'll run well before it's done. We think we're committing 100%, but we're not. We literally almost limit ourselves by saying, okay, well, that didn't work out. So you know what? It's obviously not my time, or I don't have the drive, or I don't have the ambition. We give ourselves so many excuses. And usually, like you reminded me the other day, Karen, it's the fear underlying that stops us.
Mm. The fear underlying that. Khursheed, if someone right now, and I know someone out there is watching that has fear, the underlying layer of why they won't move forward, what's a piece of advice you would give them if they were not really living to their fullest, at their fullest potential?
I would start to literally take a moment and ask, what do I want? How often do we not ask that simple question? What is it that I want? And if I didn't care about what anyone else thought, or if I didn't feel that anybody else's opinion could change my course, what would I do, have? Ask ourselves that. And also, I would say, give that inner child a voice. Learn that the child has different messages, decisions made that were made when they were 5 years old, and we're still running those programs. So what I love is seeing clients reframe those, give that child a voice for themselves, And then the adult then isn't coming from a 5-year-old place. The adult is coming from a fully authentic adult.
One of my favorite things about you is what you just said, the balance between adult and child. And I know we were talking about your second book, and then although it's a children's book, it's for adults too, correct?
Yes. Yes, my sweet book. Can I show you quickly?
Oh, I love it.
It's the mouse who lost her squeak.
Put it
And
up
yes,
one more time. Let's see it. I love that cover.
yeah, the mouse who lost her squeak. There's exercises in the back for parents and teachers. I literally had a parent who I was telling about telling her child how to express their emotions through color and where it is in the body. And she told me that on the way home from nursery school, he started to literally say, "Oh, I think I feel that my anger is red, Mom, and my sadness is blue, and it's in my chest." But you know what that kid said to his mom at 4 years old? Gosh, this just came to me. He said, "I don't think I have a heart." And when mother said, and that's for a whole other day, but this is when the child went into his body to talk about emotions, those were the words he used to his mom. So at 4 years old, if he had that belief, we can see what could happen to the adult.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's exactly why I love having you here, because not only are you speaking to the life coaches and business owners and women entrepreneurs, you're also speaking to the children and to the child within us. The child within us. So Khursheed, with all these amazing things you have coming up, what is your website? Where can people find you?
InsideOutVoice.com. They can find me on InsideOutVoice.com. And I am on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn as well.
And thank you. And thank you. I'm so happy that we had such a great conversation with Khursheed. And stay tuned for more episodes, same time, same place, same message. Thanks for coming.